talk to you about tuna. Now, when I was growing up, when you said tuna, this is what I thought about, canned tuna. And we had it some at my house, not a ton, but canned tuna is not a very impressive thing. You know, we'd mix it with a little mayo and have it on a sandwich, and it was not that interesting. Well, many years later as an adult, I was in Hawaii, and I went to a restaurant, and there's a thing on the restaurant called ahi. And I'm like, what is ahi? And they're like, well, it's tuna. Well, it turns out tuna is this large oceanic fish that if you get it fresh and cut it up, you can eat those little chunks of tuna raw, and they are amazing. But today what I want to talk to you about is doing tuna steaks. Now, I have a friend named Miguel, and he's a big-time sportsman and fisherman, and he just came back from the Gulf of Mexico, and he caught some yellowfin and blackfin tuna. I happen to have some of the blackfin here, and this is what it looks like. These big, nice pieces of this fresh oceanic fish. And so what I want to do today is I want to show you how to cook them up into steaks. So if your concept of tuna is the stuff in the can, man, this is going to be much, much better. And all we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit of a sear on either side, and we'll leave it nice and rare in the middle, and that's how you want to eat a good fresh tuna steak. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to marinate them just a little bit. So let's talk about these marinade ingredients. Now, I'm going to marinate them in sort of an Asian seasoning mix. Now, you're probably familiar with soy sauce. I always use low sodium soy sauce. But you may not be as familiar with ponzu, which I kind of think of as like a stepped up kind of classy soy sauce. It's really a Japanese condiment. Think of it as soy sauce with a little citrus flavoring. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little drizzle of this ponzu on here. And then in addition to that, I'm going to add two other ingredients. One is toasted sesame oil. Toasted sesame oil is very common in Asian cooking, but don't think of it like a vegetable oil. It has a very, very strong aroma, and it's very distinctive, used in Asian cuisine. And so we're going to put just a little drizzle for a touch of this. You don't want to do too much because it's so strong and powerful. Just a little bit of that to infuse some of that flavor. And then the last thing I'm going to put on there is a little bit of honey. Again, we're not talking about a lot. Probably the most I would put in here is a 1/2 to 3/4 teaspoon, just a little drizzle. And I'm going to turn these and coat them on every side, and then I'm going to let them sit for a few minutes, and then we'll get to work on the stove. The tuna steaks have been marinating. You can see I've got them over here. I've got a number of them. I'm just going to start with two though. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull them out, and before I get started, I want to pat them dry on both sides. If you have a moist surface, it's going to be difficult to get a really good sear. So I'm just going to pat these dry with paper towels and get that moisture off of there. You know, you can marinate these for a long time, but you don't have to. You can marinate them as little as 10 minutes or up to several hours, but I don't feel the need necessarily to do it for a long time. All right, so then just to season, I'm going to salt and pepper them on both sides to get them ready. And you can be generous with the pepper. A lot of times fancy places will do like big crusts of black pepper on the tuna steaks, and it really complements the flavor really well. Okay, they're seasoned up and ready to go. All right, I've got my pan heating up. I'm using a pretty small nonstick pan. I encourage you with this. A lot of people are afraid to warm their pans up, but in order to get a good sear, you need a good hot pan. Now, I just put in about a teaspoon or so of olive oil, and then in addition to that, I'm going to add in a pat of butter here. You can tell that pan is hot because that butter's starting to go. The oil helps the butter to not scorch quite as quickly or as easily. And as soon as that stops foaming, I'll know it's ready. In go the tuna steaks, and I start a 90-second timer. Here we go. We're going to do 90 seconds on each side. And for the thickness of these, that'll give us about the perfect medium to medium rare for the tuna steak. All right, we're coming up on 90 seconds. There's the timer, so let's turn them. Oh, look at that. See that beautiful sear? That's exactly what you want. All right, we'll let it go another 90 seconds on the second side, and then they'll be ready. All right, there's about 30 seconds left on this second side. Now you'll notice that the pan is smoking, right? I started the pan on high heat, and then I lowered it to medium high, and then a little bit lower to medium. But don't be afraid of having a smoking pan. That means that it's hot enough to make a sear. I think a lot of people, and myself included, for a while in my cooking journey, I was afraid to really let a pan get that hot. Okay, there's our 90 seconds. See that second side? Beautiful. And we'll set these off. Now, just before we try the tuna steaks, we want to make a condiment to go on them. We want to make a spicy mayonnaise. And it's pretty common to have this like as a component of sushi or that kind of thing. And we don't need much. So I'm going to just put a little bit of mayo, and I'm going to combine that with Sriracha. If you're not familiar with Sriracha, it's a hot chili sauce, very garlicky, very popular in Asian cuisine, and even beyond that, you're starting to see Sriracha in lots of contexts. So you can mix this. There's no recipe or formula for it. It's just a question of like how spicy you want it. I'm just going to mix this together, kind of eyeball it. The more orange the color is, the spicier it is. But the mayonnaise actually really kind of mellows it and makes a nice, rich accompaniment for the tuna steaks. Just as simple as that, and it's ready to go. All right, it's time to taste the tuna steaks. So this is my buddy Eric, and you might have seen him on the chocolate zucchini cake. I'm just going to put some of that spicy mayo. So if you'll dig into yours, I'll dig into mine, and we'll... All right. So see on the ends, it's a little more done through, but then like if I cut through the middle here, you see that there's more of a rare kind of section in that mayo.
Delicious.
What do you think?
So good.
Is this your first experience with tuna steaks?
No, it's not. I happen to love tuna steak. It's my favorite steak.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's good. It's a good option. So
Sure.
if you get tired of ribeye or want an alternative to New York strip, go get yourself some tuna steaks. Check out your local grocery store, or if you're like me, find a friend who likes to go deep sea fishing.
Yes.
I'm Mark. This is Eric. This is Dude Food. We'll see you next time.